This Week in Connecticut with Dennis House starts now.
Welcome to This Week in Connecticut. Greetings, everyone. I'm Dennis House. We are a month away from Election Day as dozens of city and town leaders will be chosen. And what about the race for governor? My guest, Hartford Courant columnist Kevin Rennie, author of Daily Ructions. He has a preview for us. Plus, UConn Health looking to expand. The CEO, Andrew Aguinalbi, is with us. And the Connecticut Pizza Trail is here. Preston Stober on a few stops you may not have heard of. But first up, the municipal elections taking place in cities and towns across our great state. Joining me now is former state senator, former state representative Kevin Rennie, former Republican lawmaker back in the day, also a columnist for the Hartford Courant and the author of the popular website Daily Ructions, which is celebrating 15 years this year.
15 years. Over 3,000 posts.
3,000 posts.
People
Congratulations.
Thank you. People have been very generous.
Always big stories in there. You really have to read that.
That's where Connecticut's news begins.
And of course, the Hartford Courant's, 300 years old? Right?
Yes, the nation's oldest continuously published newspaper.
So let's begin with the elections that are coming up in November, the municipal elections, cities and towns. Not a lot of big ones this year, right? I mean, Hartford doesn't have one. And
well, New Haven has one.
Yes, New Haven does have one.
Right, but Hartford has gone to 4-year terms.
And I want to ask you a little bit about the New Haven race because we've had both candidates on recently, Steve Orozco, the Republican, and Justin Eliger, the Democrat. And I was reading that the last time that a Democratic mayor was unseated by a Republican was during World War II.
I'm surprised it was surprised it was that recent. Well, except there's something else, another statistic on New Haven's voted for Dwight Eisenhower in the 50s.
Interesting.
I think the last time, pretty sure
last time
it supported a Republican for president. And President Eisenhower's appeal, we've forgotten over these many years, but it was really a phenomenon. And to do it twice in a row was remarkable.
Why do you think Democrats maintain such control over Hartford and New Haven in the elections?
Well,
because the last Republican mayor in Hartford was the 60s. It's been a while.
And Usella, that's right.
Yeah.
I think that some of it is, a lot of people moved to the suburbs and either were Republicans or became Republicans in the suburbs, and people in the cities that made a larger percentage as Democrats. And I just think culturally, our politics and our culture moved together, that a lot of the groups that live in our cities are just more inclined to be Democrats, and Republicans have struggled. I think the last time we had a statewide Republican primary, I think there were fewer than 1,000 votes or 2,000 votes cast in our major cities.
Yeah, the turnout's low.
It's really,
it's
not good for anybody.
It only takes 10,000 votes to get elected in Hartford or New Haven, thereabouts.
Well, it took, I think, in the last primary for mayor of Hartford, I think it took 3,000 votes for the winner. He got in the primary, and of course, you win the primary, you're going to win the election.
That is how you spell apathy, isn't it?
Yes.
So you're fully expecting Justin Eliger to be real?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Let's talk about some of the other cities and towns.
All right. Let's talk about Bristol.
Bristol's a rematch.
Bristol is a rematch. It is Jeff Caggiano, who a few years ago, defeated Ellen Zappo-Sassu, who was the mayor, has had a long sort of career in politics. There have been, I don't know if you've reported, but there have been signs, lawn signs all over Bristol of people saying how much their taxes have gone up. We've had a real differential. Commercial property is less valuable. Residential property is much more valuable. And so the tax burden has shifted.
And there's someone who would argue that Bristol's on the upswing. There's been a lot of new development,
Yes.
a lot of companies coming to town.
Yes, the state has been very generous to Bristol.
So what do you think is going to happen there?
I have to say, Ellen Zappo, as I first knew her, now it's Sassu, she is a really hard worker, and she's raising impressive amounts of money.
And she went to Enfield for a while to be the
She
town
went to Enfield
manager.
after she lost,
Okay.
and then when the Enfield town council went to the Republicans, she left. And I think she's probably got the wind in her sails, but and I don't mean to equivocate, but Jeff Caggiano is also a hard worker. Of course, he defeated her. 4 years ago. So, but I do think that this is not the best time for Republicans, and that's traditionally in the first year of a party's having the White House. It is often not a very good year for their candidates.
Well, let's talk about this, because this is the first year of the second Trump term.
Yes.
And a lot of candidates are being asked, would you want Donald Trump to campaign for you? Do you support Donald Trump? And that is a big question out there.
It is. It is. Now, Bristol, for a large Connecticut municipality, is kind of Republican, but some of this will be driven by enthusiasm. The party that is out of the White House, they tend to have more enthusiasm in these off-year elections.
Let's also talk about, what else do you have on your list?
Well,
of
I was
towns
going
you
to
wanna
say,
watch?
we have to talk about Ansonia, because
David Cassetti.
David Cassetti had his tire slashed in his driveway. His wife is hounding him on social media, which you don't see very often. I think he called her deranged. I mean, it's one of those things that,
Only in Connecticut.
you know, well, or only in sort of crazy Naugatuck Valley politics. And then he sort of suggested that on the edge of the downtown recently, that maybe a industrial site could be converted to a trash burning plant, which everybody gets. Those are trouble when it comes to citing them, but certainly not citing them in densely populated areas. He's had to pull back on that, but his campaign has been accident prone.
And he ran for state senator and lost.
State rep.
State rep last year.
Yes.
And you lost that.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about, because
By the way, that was an ugly campaign, really, even by any standard, a hideously ugly campaign.
So a lot of politicos in the state and political journalists would like to just get past this so they can start talking about the governor's race and the congressional races in 2026. So let's talk about Governor Lamont. He hasn't officially announced yet, but
He is not.
He's going to.
We expect him to. If he weren't going to run, he probably would have announced before now.
And what do you think about the Republican side? Obviously, Jen Tooker dropped out this week, and now we've got Aaron Stewart and Ryan Fazio. Where do you see that race going?
Well, they are two candidates with supporters. They are legitimate candidates. Aaron Stewart probably by this morning will have raised $350,000, the most ever, for her exploratory campaign for governor. That is a significant achievement, and it takes a lot of work. Ryan Fazio, who has just started, over $100,000 seems in his first report, which will be filed soon. These are serious candidates, and they will be the test. I think will be as they go out to Republican activists and present themselves.
Is that the Republican field, or do you expect anyone else to jump in?
I think that's it.
That will be it. All right. And let's talk about some of the congressional races. We know now we've had all the candidates in the 1st District challenging John Larson, and they've all been on. Let me throw this out there, because a lot of them have said that they believe the former Hartford Mayor Luke Broner really wants to run for governor. If the governor were to pull some surprise, Governor Lamont not run, do you think he'd switch?
I don't. I think he's committed. He has. He really has important reasons why he's running, and that there's a lot of action in Washington, and it's going to require some more members of Congress who are younger, more energetic, more willing to take on the system, and I think he makes a logical case for being the next congressman from the 1st Congressional District.
And Jillian Gilchrist also, she's been out there campaigning.
Yes. Slower start. And I think that one reason she decided to run was that Luke Broner was running and doesn't want to see him perhaps grab the prize and hold it for however long.
Yeah, she wanted to, I think, to wait for Larson to retire.
Yes, which did not seem like it was. I want to say, this will be the first time that an incumbent member of the House from Connecticut has faced a primary. We've had 55 years of primaries. Access to the ballot in Connecticut is a scandal.
I want to talk about the 5th District, because every year we talk about this as being that's going to be the tight race, Johanna Hayes versus whoever. But we really haven't had any Republican names yet coming forward, have we?
Yes, there is someone, and forgive me, I can't remember his name, but he's had some. I've seen some unpleasant videos saying, if anyone dares to run against me, they'll be sorry, or something like that. Johanna Hayes, who eked out a win in 2022. If George Logan had just run even in Simsbury, he would have won that race, but he didn't. And when he tried again, he lost by 10 points. I think she's pretty well cemented into the seat. It's tough, after someone has won by 10 points. It is tough for a challenger from another party to raise the money and to generate the enthusiasm.
We're going to take a quick time out. We're going to talk about Pura when we come back.
Yes.
More of our conversation when we come back.